speaking of remote schooling and counseling and all these types of needs, you work with a lot of students that are in different districts and different schools, and some of those schools are even meeting in person, surprisingly. But what have you seen as far as trends right now for counselors or just schools supporting students during the shutdown, during remote schooling? We know that mental health issues are on the rise for a lot of students due to being the stress of online school and being isolated from their friends. What have you seen around that's been helpful, and what would your expert recommendations be to kind of help and support students during this time?
You know, it's interesting because most of the students that I have in my program right now who are interning are doing a lot of home visits, which is something that it's been interesting for me because I have never been a school counselor during a pandemic. So my students are actually more experienced at being a school counselor during a pandemic than I am. But I see counselors and interning students doing a lot more work to reach out to all students and really trying to make a connection in multiple different ways, whether it's via email or the phone or doing home visits. I've seen a lot of school counselors who they've made the focus of their job figuring out what the needs are of their students, and regardless of what their job duties are, trying to meet those needs as best they can. And sometimes that's standing in the parking lot outside the school and speaking with students in their vehicle. I mean, it's kind of amazing to see what people have done to support their students and families. I think that if I had any advice if I could give any advice to anyone right now, it's just to give each other grace. This is not easy, and everyone's household has different variables and different stressors. And I think that just having grace for everyone and being open to other people's needs right now is very important.
That's very helpful. Thank you. Yeah, and thank you for mentioning home visits. Students, you heard it here from Dr. Nate. When me and Phil or Jessica or Miss Henson or Miss Gasca or Miss Foss, if we're coming to your house, knocking on your door, trying to give you information, we're not crazy. We're not weird. All the other schools are supposed to be doing it. And Dr. Nate said we're supposed to be doing it. So boom. There you go. But I do appreciate that idea of being gracious with one another and trying to kind of like, when the tensions rise, you just kind of have to forgive each other. And I think that extends to the classroom too. I think, teachers are very vulnerable during this time, just like anybody else. And we expect counselors or teachers or schools to be able to meet everyone's needs. And it's been a struggle, for us as well. So, but then we also need to be gracious with students and understand that, there's problems with this environment, and we need to be gracious with one another as well.